All right. Good morning, PTNI's daily show. Happy Thursday morning, live here, Facebook, live here, Instagram. Yes, live for now, for real on Facebook. Good morning. My name is Alan. Happy to be here this Thursday morning. Sorry I'm late. Just finished doing Gut Check Thursday. Hope your Thanksgiving morning is off to a good start. We're here on Leadership Thursday. Before we get started, let's talk about Gut Check Thursday. This week's Gut Check is very long. We try to keep these to 10 minutes. Not the case this week. This will be a 45-minute plus body weight workout. It is a hero workout called BERT. You can read the full thing on our social media, but burpees, push-ups, lunges, squats, an ascending, descending pyramid with 400-meter runs in between. It took me about 67 minutes with a 20-pound vest on, so definitely a longer workout. Kind of just a moderate intensity burner that never seems to end. Complicated this morning by it being about 40 degrees and raining outside. So quite a miserable experience that is a Thanksgiving tradition for me and some of my friends from the gym. So hopefully you get a chance to hit that today or later this weekend and experience BERT. I know that's a tradition at South College as well. So shout out to all the South College students who have an obsession with doing the BERT workout. Some courses coming up. No more live courses 2020, but starting January 16th, all of our live courses are resuming across the country. And then we have a bunch of online courses beginning the first weekend of January. I know I'm super pumped to be working on the Fitness Athlete Live schedule with Mitch and Zach. We have a bunch of great courses already on the website and some more waiting to finalize. Courses in Atlanta, Norfolk, Virginia, San Diego, Bozeman, Montana, Milwaukee, Columbus, Ohio, Grand Rapids, Michigan, Connecticut, Dallas, Kansas City, Richmond, Virginia. Some of those are already on the website. The rest of them are in the process of being finalized. The Fitness Athlete crew is super excited, hedging our bets on the vaccine for COVID being ready and knocking 2021 off with a bang with a bunch of great courses across the country. So make sure you check us out in the Fitness Athlete division. Now, this is not Fitness Athlete Friday, this is Leadership Thursday, and I want to talk about a topic in a term I was introduced to, which I've fallen in love with, the concept of EGN, extra grace needed. This was a term introduced to me a few weeks ago by our friend here at ICE, Summer Thompson, to describe those difficult patients that come into the clinic, but certainly can be utilized to describe a number of different topics as it relates to leadership. So extra grace needed. And I think today I'm going to talk about it from two different angles, both working with those patients and how to display some extra grace, but also from a leadership side of things as well. So those difficult patients, those extra grace needed patients that come into the clinic that can be very frustrating. I'm thinking of patients in particular that always seem to be running late and we never have time to do a full session, and just how much that delays and kind of strings out their plan of care, and how frustrating that is to me on the clinician side of things. But hearing that term, that expression, extra grace needed, and asking ourselves as clinicians, do we have a little bit of extra grace for that person? Is there a little bit of extra grace in the tank? And just thinking, especially in this year, in 2020, of all the different things and all the different factors that folks have going on in their life, much more so than they've probably ever had before in their life, and just asking ourselves, do I have a little bit of extra grace for this patient? This patient is always running late, but recognizing that these patients may have things going on in their life now that are simply out of their control. A lot of folks now are at home teachers and babysitters, and they're also trying to work from home or still get to a physical in-person job, and there's a lot on their plate, not to mention the worry that comes with COVID and all the extra life struggles that come with the management of what's going on right now. And just asking ourselves, is there a little bit of extra grace for that person when they maybe show up late or they didn't have time to hit their home program? Giving that person a little bit of extra grace, and also just really focusing on what is the most important thing with that patient is to calm their symptoms down, show them some change in their symptoms, and then ask, I have a whole list, a whole plan, a 60-minute plan for this person, which obviously we cannot do now because maybe they're late or they have to leave early. And what is really important? What big picture items do I want to accomplish with that patient? That's what we should really be getting after, and just kind of being more comfortable maybe than ever before in working with the gray area with patients, that we need to be flexible more than ever and get to what's going to give them the most bang for their buck in the clinic. Maybe it's an entire 60-minute plan I have on the whiteboard for that person, and they're 10 minutes late and they have to leave 10 minutes early, and stepping back, looking at that whiteboard and saying what's really important that we hit today and what can kind of be erased off this whiteboard and push to their next visit. So just asking yourselves, even at the end of the day, even at the end of a long work week, is there a little bit of extra grace? Do we have that for our patients? And the answer to that question, of course, is going to be almost always yes. We do have a little bit of extra grace in the tank for that patient. And then on the flip side, when we look at ourselves, when we zoom out and examine and self-reflect on ourselves as clinicians, as leaders, as business owners, is there a little bit of extra grace for ourselves? I was talking with a friend the other day. She was kind of saying it's tough being a business owner right now. Every decision that's made is critiqued a lot, and you can never make anybody happy, especially with everything that's going on now related to COVID and kind of how frustrating that can be. And I just told her, you need to have a little bit of extra grace for yourself. These are uncertain times, more uncertain than probably ever before, especially in our lifetimes. And we need to be kind to ourselves and have a little bit of extra grace, not only for our patients and our clients and our customers, but also for ourselves. And recognize that at the government level, at the organizational level, many of our leaders and organizations and governments have failed us, and are not doing a good job of providing leadership. I'm thinking of here in Michigan, the latest shutdown guidelines that say, if you can work from home, you should. If you can, if not, don't, which are kind of very vague and gray and hard for people to follow, and how that can create uncertainty and frustration in how to lead our own organizations and businesses when the guidance from higher level organizations and governing bodies isn't very helpful and isn't very clear. And just that extra grace we need to have for ourselves when we are making decisions. Should we close our clinic? Should we go to telehealth? Should we stay open? How far out should we stretch our appointments? All these different decisions day to day that go into running our businesses in our organizations, and the lack of guidance and how frustrating that can be, and just kind of recognize that you'll never make everybody happy, and just have, again, being comfortable in that gray area, not unlike with patient care, that with the leadership and management of our organizations, we need to be a little bit comfortable with the decisions we make and that they won't please everybody. I was listening to a great podcast that I highly recommend you all listen to. The podcast is Talking Elite Fitness, and it's kind of about competitive CrossFit, which I would love for you to listen to the episode where they interview the new CEO of CrossFit, Eric Roza. Now, even if you're not into CrossFit, I think that it's a great podcast episode dealing from the topic of leadership and management and ownership, more so than anything to do with competitive CrossFit. He has a lot of great stuff to say, especially as it comes to running an organization, especially in uncertain times like this. And just understanding and recognizing that when you are in a leadership position, whether you own the company or you're just happen to be in charge of it, or even if you're just in charge of a small team of people, that it's kind of lonely at the top, making those decisions when it's all said and done. It's on us as leaders, and that we have to have a little bit of extra grace for ourselves. We can't be too hard on ourselves. Obviously, we want the best decision possible to be made, when we're making these decisions, but also just to recognize that there's very little help available from other organizations, and it kind of falls to us as leaders to make those day-to-day decisions, and that we should be at rest, or as much as we can be at peace and rest with our decisions, and have some grace for ourselves in this day and age as far as the decisions that we make. So highly recommend that episode, Talking Elite Fitness. It's a two-part episode. I think it's like 90 minutes, which is on the longer side of a podcast, but I highly recommend it. Certainly much shorter than like a Joe Rogan or a Jocko episode. So definitely something to listen to if you have time over the next couple days. A lot of great insights in business leadership and business management from Eric Rosa. So having grace for your patients, especially this time of year, as things kind of spiral out of control a little bit with the resurgence of COVID, but also a little bit of grace for ourselves and the decisions we make in the clinic with patients, running a team, running a whole clinic, or maybe a chain of clinics. Some of you may be running multiple clinics, and having that little bit of extra grace for yourselves in times like these with the decisions that we have to make out there. So I hope you all have a fantastic Thanksgiving. I know Thanksgiving maybe looks a little bit different this year than previous years, but just hang in there. We're close to the end. We know hopefully the vaccine is going to start rolling out in December, and things will become hopefully a little bit more certain, a little bit more back to normal soon. So have a great Thanksgiving. Have a great Thursday. If you haven't yet, go to ptinice.com. Click on the resources tab, check out the Quarantine Con Ed 2.0 that we released. Some great lectures there to listen to, worth CEUs this time. So if you're sitting at home today, you're stuck at home, you got nothing to do, you're away from your family, dive into those lectures. That's a great way to spend the afternoon. Hope to see you at an online course or a live course in 2021, and we'll see you next time here on the podcast. Bye, everybody.
Hey, thanks for tuning in to the PT on Ice Daily Show. If you enjoyed this content, head on over to iTunes and leave us a review. And be sure to check us out on Facebook and Instagram at the Institute of Clinical Excellence. If you're interested in getting plugged into more ICE content on a weekly basis while earning CEUs from home, check out our virtual ICE online mentorship program at ptonice.com. While you're there, sign up for our Hump Day Hustling newsletter for a free email every Wednesday morning with our top 5 research articles and social media posts that we think are worth reading. Head over to ptonice.com and scroll to the bottom of the page to sign up.